Alright, so I'm back with another video here. This is another 10-minute game for the road to 2200 rating, rapid chess rating on chess.com that I'm aiming for. And this game, I had the white pieces against a 2203. I currently have not lost a game yet. This is, I believe, the 6th game and the 5th video that I've made in the series. And this was against a 2203. So I've jumped all the way up to 2119, and I'm slowly building my way up toward 2200. But I know I'm going to get a tough game here against 2203. This is not going to be an easy game. So let's just jump right in. We got d4, knight f6, pawn to c4, pawn to e6, knight f3. I kind of play both knight c3 and knight f3. In this game, I chose to play knight to f3, though. I wanted to avoid the Nimzo Indian after knight c3 and then bishop to b4. So after knight f3, he goes pawn to a5. So this is a very interesting move. It hasn't been played that much, but it'll end up transposing to a lot of lines. Like there are a lot of positions where Black plays the Bogo Indian with bishop to e4 check, and then after something like bishop to d2, a5 is a move in this position. A5 is generally a pretty useful move in a lot of these structures, or it's not really a bad move to include. So him playing a5 right away, it caught me by surprise, but it didn't really concern me all too much or really tell me a whole lot about what he was going to be doing. Because clearly he wants to play bishop to b4 check, and I might have overreacted to this by playing knight b to d2. So my logic behind this move was, okay, if you play bishop to b4 now, I'll play a3 and I'll make you take my knight. And if I had gone knight to c3, then he would be able to take and double my pawns. But if I go knight to d2, I'll probably discourage him from putting his bishop on b4. And maybe I can look to play something like e4 in the future, or maybe I can just look to play g3 and bishop g2 and play it like a Queen's Indian or Catalan type setup. So, for example, if he goes d5 here, we're going to end up in some form of Catalan-like system. It really doesn't, I don't know if it fits exactly in the Catalan, but they're very similar structures. And knight d2, it's very hard for him to take advantage of it. I mean, I think the best move that he could do is probably play d5, but I don't think it's a bad move. So in the same way that I don't think a5 is a bad move because I can't really take advantage of it, I don't think he can really take advantage of knight b to d2. So anyway, pawn to b6 was played. He's looking to fianchetto his bishop probably. I go pawn to g3, bishop b7, bishop g2, pawn to c5. And I just castled, and then a lot of pieces come off the board here. I go knight df3, bishop c5, and then trades occur, h6, bishop to d2. I'm just looking to play bishop to c3, put this bishop on a good diagonal. Also, bishop to f4 could have been considered. Queen e7 was played, bishop c3, castle, b3, rook d8, rook d1, and really a lot of pieces just start coming off the board here. Not a whole lot going on in this game. I go queen d3 to try and trade the queens and get a semi-majority over here. It's a 4-on-3, but this pawn on e6 is still in the game. But I really wanted to trade on d3 and then maybe look to play d4. So he goes knight d7, I go d4, and he actually makes a slight mistake here by playing bishop to d6. And really this is my only chance in this game, and it would be to play c5. The idea being I'm trying to undermine this pawn, and after something like b takes c5, I can go bishop takes c5, and if you take here, I take back on d7, and then this pawn is weak. If you move this pawn, then knight to b5, and I'm really starting to get some serious play. Plus, I've got this passed a pawn that could be an advantage down the home stretch. If you go somewhere like bishop to e7, I think bishop to c7 and just run this pawn is a pretty good plan. Box out this knight. So that was a missed opportunity. I probably should have played c5. I had plenty of time on my clock here, and I had 7 minutes and 36 seconds. He had about 9 minutes. He hadn't thought for a second so far, and I really kind of just jumped in with knight to e5 and figured, whatever, this is good enough. If anyone's going to be pushing for a win, it's going to be me. So I figured knight e5 couldn't be that bad. So we had knight takes e5, d takes e5, bishop c5, and f4. But unfortunately, this game, we get to a position where not a whole lot of progress can be made. We dance around for many, many moves, but unfortunately, there's just no way that either of us can make progress. If I stray too far away with my king, he's going to get in with his, which would be undesirable, so I don't really want to march my king somewhere over here. And same thing with him. If he moves his bishop like too far away from this pawn, or if he allows me to trade bishops at the wrong time, it could end poorly for him. But after shuffling our bishops for many, many moves, we just agreed to a draw. So not really the most interesting game, but very unusual opening. But then all the pieces just ended up coming off the board. I probably could have been a little bit more ambitious in this game, but I'm not really too unhappy with drawing a 2200. And according to the chess.com game review, we played with roughly 25 to 2600 performance rating. But it was really just a boring game. A lot of pieces got traded, and then I was really trying not to blunder or make a bad move. And really the only chance in this entire game was this c5 move that I missed early on. It was really just this moment right here where I had a chance to play c5. And this outside of this, I think the game was relatively equal, but pretty boring game. But didn't lose and still haven't lost a game in the series. So the rating is still looking pretty good at 2119. And I will see you guys in the next video.